Sunday. I have no words for you, my dearest. I shall never have. You are mine, I am yours. Now, here is one sign of what I said, that I must love you more than at first. A little sign, and you will look narrowly for it, or it escapes me. But then the increase it shows can only be little, so very little now. At first I only thought of being happy in you, in your happiness. Now I must think of you in the dark hours that must come. I shall grow old with you, and die with you, as far as I can look into the night and I see the light with me. I am surely that provision of comfort one should turn with fresh joy and renewed sense of security to the sunny middle of the day. I am in the full sunshine now, and after all seems cared for. Is it too homely for an illustration if I say the day's visit is not crossed by uncertainties, as the return through the wild country at nightfall? Now Keats speaks of beauty that must die, and joy whose hand is ever at his lips, bidding farewell. And who spoke of looking up into the eyes and asking, "And how long will you love us?" There is a beauty that will not die, a joy that bids no farewell. Dear, dearest eyes that will love forever, and I am to love no longer than I can. Well, dear, and when I can no longer, will you not blame me? Will you do only as ever, kindly and justly? Hardly more. I do not pretend to say I have chosen to put up my fancy to such an experiment. But consider how that is to happen, what measures ought to be taken in the emergency. Because in the universality of my sympathies, I certainly number a very lively one with my own heart and soul, and cannot amuse myself by such a spectacle as their opposed extinction or paralysis. There is no doubt I should be an object for the deepest conversation, or view, or any more fortunate human being. And I hope that because such a calamity does not obtrude itself on me as a thing to be prayed against, it is no less dully than implied with all the other visitations, with no humanity can be altogether exempt. Just as God bids us to walk on the continuance on the daily bread, battle, murder, and sudden death. Lie behind, doubtless, I repeat, and perhaps in doing so, only give one more example of the instantaneous conversation that indignation will bestow in another's case into wonderful lenity whenever it becomes our own. That I only contemplate the possibility you make me recognize, with pity and fear, no anger at all, and imprecations of vengeance. For what? Observe, I only speak of cases possible, of sudden impotency of mind. That is possible. There are other ways of changing, ceasing to love, which it is safest not to think nor believe in. And now, love, dear heart of my heart, my own, only see no more, see what I am, what God in his constant mercy and ordinarily grants to those who have, as I, received already so much past expression. It is, but if you will so please, at worst forestalling the 1 or 2 years, for my sake, for you will be assures me one day as I can be now of myself. And why not be sure? See, love, a year is gone by. We were in one relation when you wrote at the end of the letter, "Do not say I do not tire you." by writing. I am sure I do. A year has gone by. Did you tire me then? Now you tell me what is told. For my sake, sweet, let the few years go by. We are married, and in my arms are round you, and my face touches yours. I am asking you, were you not to me, in that dim beginning of 1846, a joy beyond all joys, a life added to in transforming mine, the good I chose from all the possible gifts of God on this earth for which I seem to have lived, which accepting, I thankfully stepped aside as let the rest of my life get what they can. Of what, it is very likely they esteem more. For why should my eye be evil because God is good? Why should I grudge that giving them, I do believe, infinitely less he gives them a content in the interior good and belief in its worth? I should have wished for that further concession, that illusion as I believe it, for their sakes. But I cannot undervalue my own treasure, and so can't scant the only tribute of mere gratitude, which is in my power to pay. Hear this said now before the few years, and believe in it now, for then, dearest. 11th of January, 1846. Robert Browning to Elizabeth Barrett Browning.